Hi guys, I'm Dan Hoff, COO of HoneyStick, and today we're going to be doing a real special video that goes through the benefits of Sub Ohm Oil vaping and how it applies to different cannabis, CBD oils, what the benefits are, and really how this is something that our company has really embraced and had as its company mission, from years ago, before it was even a topic. I received actually a lot of comments from subscribers on the channel that asked more questions about sub-ohm vaping and really what it means, what the benefits could be, and how that could possibly be a different vaping experience from what they're normally used to. So just to give you guys a background, and for those of you guys who don't know the story of HoneyStick, let's take a quick walk down memory lane and really go into what the building blocks were for us starting the company. So about 4 years ago, this style of oil pen was the only thing the people who were using oils for medicinal purposes had available on the market for them to reliably fill, and it won't leak, and it can vape your oil effectively and efficiently. And not to, sit here and knock on this pen, because it still serves a lot of people very well today. But when you compare it to the e-liquid market, it's a dinosaur, because e-liquid vaporizers, as you guys have seen, have really advanced on technologically. And I've been in vaporizers since about 2008, 2009, really at the early stages of it, when most e-cigs for nicotine also look like this. They look kind of like a cigarette, and you would instead of screwing an oil cartridge on there, you would screw on a little nicotine cartridge that looked like half of a cigarette that would be closed with liquid nicotine. So the technological advancements in that market really progressed going into 2010, 11, and 12. But the funny thing is that the oil technology was still the same. So we were making a lot of e-liquid vaporizers, and actually a lot of users of our e-liquid vaporizers were filling them with oil. However, there was a lot of drawbacks: leaking, burning. They were getting more performance out of them, but it just wasn't right. But when we caught wind that a lot of people were making their own concoctions or modifying devices that we were making under different names at the time, we said, hey, why don't we design from the ground up a vaporizer that has all the high performance characteristics that really gives the oil guys an option over this pen. So we ended up creating our Sub Ohm kit, which is actually our award-winning cannabis cup, winning in SoCal oil kit that is really designed from the ground up, that takes away all of the concerns that other devices had. And this so happens to be a sub-ohm device. Now, what really is sub-ohm? I had that question earlier this week. So ohms is a electrical resistance that goes through, these are all electronically powered by batteries, the cartridges. So there's wires and electrical circuits within the cartridges, and they have a certain resistance. The higher the number is for resistance, the slower the current passes through the cartridge and through the device. So a sub-ohm is a ultra low resistance device, which means it doesn't have much electronic resistance. And sub-ohm is kind of a term that they say is below 1. So a 1.0 resistance. So below 1.0 resistance falls into the sub-ohm category. And what does this really mean for you in vaping? It means, first of all, that your device has more power, because it's going to require power to get it powered up. It's going to heat up a lot quicker. So the current's going to pass through your cartridge. It's going to heat up faster. It's going to be more intense. It's going to also allow you to, on the very first hits, to get new flavor notes. It's going to be a more flavorful experience. A lot of people have high terpene extracts and different CBD blends. They really want to get you know, the intricate flavors and have a taste of them. And the Sub Ohm device, when you push fire, that rapid heat up is going to disperse into an instant vaporization that's going to give you certain flavor notes that off of a device that takes a longer time for the coil to heat up, you're not going to get. That's why a lot of the e-liquid guys were using devices that look somewhat similar to these style devices many years before, because they caught on that with their different pancake and bubblegum jelly, whatever e-liquids that they were into, that they could really do a better job of tasting them from the devices that were readily available on the market there. So when you go from e-liquid to cannabis, and a lot of people actually, a question was, can we use e-liquid Sub Ohm devices for our oil? The short answer is, will it vaporize? Yeah, it'll vaporize, but it's not going to do it properly, okay? First of all, a lot of design goes into, especially to this tank, to address all the issues that happen, because cannabis has a different molecular construction than the liquid nicotine juice. It also has a different viscosity or thickness. So all these little differences, and when you heat them all, because it's a different chemical compounds that are in play here, they react differently and vaporize differently, and also have different temperatures at which they vaporize. So these are all little things that you have to really account for when you're designing a Sub Ohm, a real powerful vaporizer, to properly do cannabis. So I would refrain from using e-liquid Sub Ohm Vaporizer devices for your cannabis that wasn't specifically designed for cannabis, CBDs, and other extracts of the sort, because then you run the risk of either not burning it properly, over burning it, not getting the taste. One of the biggest issues that people have is leakage through different air holes, and you really have to go the extra mile to prevent leaking when it comes to dealing with any cannabis products, because when you heat them. So there's a significant design difference in all the Sub Ohm devices that we've set up for cannabis. So we basically launched this kit, and I mean, as you can just see off the bat, it is a world of difference. I mean, the first cannabis cup kit that we entered into, this looked like a World War I plane, and this was like a stealth bomber. It just, you know, people didn't know what to think of it, and it was a little bit ahead of its time. But over the last couple years, so many of you and so many on the market started realizing what the true benefits of these kits are. Is it just completely elevates the vaping experience and brings the vaping experience that the e-liquid guys were having to the cannabis and the CBD markets. So having the Sub Ohm vaporizers that have adjustability factors to where you could tune in on the temperatures, to where you can really, you know, hone in on the voltage and the wattage, to where you have different heater composition options. You know, it really does make it to where you can have a more flavorful experience with your oils. You can also get into intensity levels that you would be at a fraction of with traditional pens on the market in terms of cloud production and size of the hit to really hone it in, which has really developed such a cult-like following to a lot of our company's products. So let me just briefly, now that we gave you guys a background of the reason of why we went into this direction and why creating different Sub Ohm vaporizers is a primary focus for me and HoneyStick as a whole, in moving towards the future of making the best possible experiences that users can have that are medicating or whatnot with CBDs or different extracts. Let's jump in to really quickly summarize, and we have detailed videos about all of these products also located here on the channel. So I'm just going to give you a real brief jump into each one of these. So we have our original Sub Ohm, which currently is sold out. but will be available in a couple weeks. And this was meant for oils. It has a 36 watt HoneyStick battery that you can adjust the voltage or the wattage to set up. These are 510 threads, so you could run other adapters that we offer and that other people offer on them. What we just launched actually yesterday is our Sub Ohm Sport Kit, which is a little bit sportier, a little bit concealed. It doesn't have all of the functions that our original tank had, which allows you to use as a blender where you can use some solids and waxes and mix them and vape them at the same time. It doesn't have the same resistance, but it's a really good kit if you're just trying to get into sub ohm vaping for the first time and want something that is a little bit more on the go, a hair more discreet. So this kit is also available. I think we just put up the detailed video for that today, so you can check that out. And also, these tanks are also separately available. I know the original tank is out of stock, but we got in the Sub Ohm tank kit for just the tank and an extra heater as well. That's available. If you want more features and functionality like batteries that have separate temperature control to where you can set in what temperature you want your oils to vaporize at, which is really a few steps up from novice level, which I would consider expert level. We have our Speed Edition batteries that have, let me just bring them front and center here. We have in different colors, and we also have a gunmetal gray as well. These batteries actually go up to 200 watts, which is more power than you'll ever need here. But what you don't use in power, it will make up in life and features. So it's going to run in that 30 watt range or whatever would be a very high operating level. Do it very smoothly and effectively. You have different settings within the battery that you can choose if you want your power to roll on really hard, or you want it to come on soft or just normal, about how you want your power to zone into your hit. You can have different temperature adjustments, adjust the settings for what type of coil you have, and really take advantage of almost science into your vaping experience with the sub ohms. So we have that, and also a unit that is a favorite to a lot of people out there that we had offered, and this is kind of a sneak peek. So we had our unit that was called the Ripper, which we have changed the name to for the last year. It's now the Ripper. It was a lighter. We no longer sell this design for reasons I won't get into, but we are bringing the same design back in a brand new shell. And let's get a nice close-up of it. And it is actually going to be a 2-in-1, and it is going to come with a dab adapter as well. So it's going to be for oils. This is your sub ohm concealer. This is a modern day sub ohm concealer. Fits in the pocket, stays completely closed. It's disguised as a lighter, has a mouthpiece, a button. It is extremely powerful. I'm sure that if you Google the model name for this, you'll see several videos of people testing them and using them and their testimonials to how really intense it is. This unit does not have variable temperature settings. It's set on one level, and that is intense. And that is, so this is not a unit that is meant for the faint of heart. This is meant for the more adventurous individuals. And it's going to be available on our website for pre-order very soon, and it will be delivered by the end of June. We will be shipping them out. It is first come, first serve, and as a lot of you guys have known, a lot of our sub ohm devices, since this is our company's focus and passion, they do sell out very quickly. So it is first come, first serve, and we will do what we can to reserve any units for you. Let's see. That's just a little example. It has a little bit of liquid left in there. As you can see, you're not going to hear a hiss like that. That's very powerful. This battery hasn't been charged in a while. So know that the difference between sub ohm and regular is a different step up for intensity. So I hope that this video was informative and taught you guys a little bit more about our company and really where our mission and our passion lies, and a little bit more about what's behind Sub Ohm Vaporizers and how we're really trying to innovate and bring a better vaping experience to oils. You know, check us out if you want to know more on our Instagram, official Vape HoneyStick. Subscribe to the channel. We're going to keep bringing you guys good videos and trying to answer you guys' questions at the Vapor Store Direct. Just click subscribe. Like our video, comment to us. You can find me in the comments answering a lot of you guys and really trying to address your questions. And use my special promo code HONEY420 for 20% off all these cool items. And be in touch with us and make sure that whenever you're vaping or sub-ohm vaping, that you vape responsibly. Thanks for tuning in.